this 390 and FE 406, 427. They're very difficult to find. The intake is what's hard to find. Well, I got one, and I'm having a guy do some machine work on it right now. He's having to punch a hole in it where the distributor goes, because they had a front-mounted distributor before, and I'm going to run the regular distributor in it. I understand them. All right, so I pulled the intake off, the carburetors. It had tri-power on it, and here are the heads. FE, a Ford motor, has bolt-down rocker arms, and one of the problems with them is that you just can't pull the rocker arms off, or pull the intake manifold off, I'm sorry. Then you got to pull the rocker arms off, which is a common shaft, then pull the push rods out, because the intake manifold looks like it's a part of the head. It's built into the head. They're extremely heavy. So I've got it down to this point. I'm waiting on the guy to finish the intake manifold, and when he does that, it should take me about 2 or 3 hours to get the intake, blower, and all that on. Up front here, we're going to do away with the bypass on it, because the blower intake doesn't have an inlet for it, and we're not running at the thermostat, so we don't need the bypass. So this is where we're at, waiting on the intake. Hopefully I'll get it today or tomorrow, and then we'll start the process. But over here is the intake manifold. You could see it was a tri-power setup that worked perfect. I've had this thing on here for, I guess, 10 years. But as you can see, here's where the valve cover on an FE is. This is where the push rods go through the intake. So you got to pull the rocker arms off to get the intake out. Very simple job. It's 3 bolts and 4 bolts, and they just unscrew, you pull them off. Same deal, no adjustment, because I've got a hydraulic cam in it. I prefer to use them, they're easier to work. So that's where I'm at right now, waiting on an intake. I'm going to put the blower on the Thunderbird, and one of the problems you have with a Ford engine is the distributor's up front. And so what we've done here, I ordered a 4-inch spacer where it'll pick the blower up 4 inches off of the intake manifold. Then you can put the distributor in the hole that I'm having machined that wasn't there before, and it will clear by 2 inches, my measurements. When I get it on, I'll let you know for sure. But this goes, the blower goes on top, and the intake is on the bottom. So this 4-inch spacer, if I have a problem, I can get a 2-inch spacer to put on top of this, or another 4-inch spacer. But I think it would be above the hood, and it looked pretty stupid. This, I think, is going to look okay. So this is the spacer for the blower. I had to order it out of Tennessee, a place called Alki Digger, and very nice guy there, Mike. Give me a lot of information. Him and I talked about it. So that's where we're at now. Blower itself, it's a 671, and I don't know if this is universal, but an easy way to tell is 671. It has 3 ribs in it here. An 871, I'm told, has 4. I had a front engine dragster with an 871 on it, but I don't remember if it had 3 or 4 ribs. It's been so long ago. When I was talking about where the distributor goes, the distributor will go right under here. So that's the reason I got to get it up. They make another distributor. It's called an offset distributor. It goes in the hole and it comes out and it sits here. But it's $1,000. I don't want to spend $1,000 on the distributor when I can do that. So this is the next step, going on top of the spacer. You know what we're doing, Emil?
Yeah, you're getting the thing to top dead center.
Okay, so now you're going backwards in rotation, aren't you? You're pulling up on it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
exhaust. That's how she's compressing right now. Okay, somewhere's around top dead center, should be coming up.
Yeah, we're way away from it. There it comes, it's coming up.
It's compression stroke. Oh yeah, rock, shafts are loose.
Okay, I'm still coming up.
Get around center.
Right there.
Okay,
Let me look at this thing here and see what it says. All right, me'll come over after work, and I'm still at work at 9 o'clock at night. And meal works from 9 to 9, 70
Sometimes.
hours a week, yes. This is the blower after we got it on. We had to make a few modifications to get it on the 4-inch spacer, which is right here under the blower, and the intake manifold. Raised it up where we could get the distributor in, because of 4 distributors up front. Now I've got 2 inches of space under there, and I'm hoping it, which I know it will work, and I'm waiting to get the belt. The belt's 63 inches. The belt that I have now is only like 40 some inches. So I got to get the belt, get it on, then we'll crank it. I made a throttle bracket for it on this side, a little bit of engineering. I put it in here and bolted it onto the back of the blower, and then came with the throttle cable to here, which fortunately this is all I had, and I could use the original throttle cable on it. So hopefully in a week or so I'll have this thing running. We'll see what it does, see how much horsepower it does add to it.
We'll go tearing up that field, huh?
Yes.
Wow.
Ain't that badass?
Yeah, yeah.
Does it sound like it's got a lot of power?
It does. Yes, sir.
You know-
You gotta take it easy now.
When I took it out yesterday to test drive it, like I said, it had that hard spot in the gas pedal, and it got sideways on me before I could control it. And I still got the hard spot in it. I thought I fixed it, but I haven't. And it was quite a challenge. We cut the hood out for it yesterday, and we've still got to do the trim work. And because the hood wouldn't close down past this, we had to cut the back piece out. This is 6.5 inches, and then we secured it to the edge in there, and this is permanent here. So the hood comes up this way and lifts off. But grab it, well, wait a minute, let me do something. Here, put this one in over there. Okay, let's pick it up. Grab under the fender well. Are you able to do that?
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's neat.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I had to cut it this way. I wanted to leave it in one piece, but it just wouldn't clear the blower top. And again, this is where we left this piece in it. We secured it in here, and it won't go no place, and it looks like it fits now.
Yeah. Very neat.
But as far as any problems or setbacks or anything, we haven't had any.
That's some tight clearance there.
Yes, it is, but what the problem is this, the idler pulley needs to move forward about an eighth of an inch, 16th, and it moves it away from that belt. When I retightened this again, it moved back and
Walked it.
yeah, so now it's up close, but you know, we move it just a hair forward, it'll plenty of clearance.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's very simple to put on. I was surprised. I've never put one on or tried to crank it and put it on. The first time, as you heard, it fired right up. This car never cranked that way with a tri-power on it.
And put
It's
enough
always-
gas in it.
Yeah.
It'll do it.
Yeah, it was always slow cranking.
Yeah.
And
Neat. So when are we going drag racing, Fred?
first event they have,
Awesome.
which I hope is soon. But another thing that we tried to do, I didn't think it would work, and it didn't, but we reversed the wires on the fan and moved the fan out here. And I don't know if I can put it on the backside. Originally, it was on the backside. I don't think I got enough clearance in here, so I'll have to buy a pusher. And I'd prefer the puller. So, pretty neat setup. I'm very pleased with it.
Yeah. I'm pleased just by looking at it and hearing it. Wow.
Yeah, we put, rebuilt the two AFBs on it. Very simple carburetors to rebuild, and a lot of oddballs. This one is a little different than most of it. Has a bleed here. You can bleed the air off of the front of the case, the gearing in here. And this is the sight gauge for the oil in this part of the blower here.
And the AFB is, they were bought by Holly, right?
Right. They're
Okay.
not Holly, Elbrock.
Edelbrock, okay.
Right.
All right.
It's the exact same carburetor. You pull one of the Elbrocks apart, and it looks exactly the same.
Neat. These are from 68, you're saying?
Ballpark.
Ballpark. Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you exactly. They've got the serial number on them, and they're both the same serial number, but I don't know what year. I hadn't got a definitive date on it yet.
Okay. Cool.
But when we rebuild them, I turn them all the way in and turn them out a turn and a quarter, and they work perfect. And I
Cool.
couldn't adjust them any way different than the way I got them. This is the blow-off plate back here. There, with the springs on it.
Okay. So if you overboost?
Yes.
Okay.
And then this is a Holman Moody, which nobody's ever heard of, an intake. And I got to get a boost gauge for it. And once I do that, then I'll be able to set this thing up right.
Sweet.
But I'm like this now. It works great.
Yes.